the top 5 tips on being a better letting and estate agent. Today, I'm joined by Keith Allen, who is a letting agent in Essex, but also an estate and letting agency trainer. Thanks for joining me today, Keith. What are your 5 top tips on how to be a better letting and estate agent? Number 1, talk to me.
So number 1, Chris, is to start 1 hour earlier than everybody else every day.
Is this 5 a.m. club thing?
Up at 5, maybe leave at 6, get in the office at 7, an hour before everybody else. Yeah.
Isn't that a fallacy, that getting up early thing? Or do you really think it makes a difference?
100% makes every difference. So if you get up an hour earlier, in short, it's just 20 minutes of planning your day. You've got 20 minutes of reading in your field, i.e. local market and national market news. And you've got 20 minutes of either role play with one of your colleagues or mental rehearsal. That's your 1 hour of special time. Some people call it the hour of power. But if you want to get ahead of the competition, that is what you need to do every day. And it just becomes a habit. It becomes easy.
What's number 2?
Number 2 is plan your perfect day. So I think a lot of people don't think about this, but it's important to know what a good day looks like. So, you know, if you get in the office at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, what is your ideal day? What does it include? You know, talking to landlords or talking to sellers, talking to your colleagues.
Do you think an awful lot of agents are very reactive and they kind of deal with whatever the brown smelly stuff hits the whirly thing in the corner?
Yeah.
They just deal with it. They're firefighting all the time.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have a bit of flexibility, but how can you have a great day if you don't know what a great day looks like? So it's different for everybody, but it has to include certain elements and you have to be flexible. But thinking about how that is for you. I mean, I've done this about 20 years ago, and every day when I go to work now, say I go into my agency, I go in there at 7 o'clock normally, sometimes 8, but 7. I'll do my hour, you know, with the hour of power, if you like. And then I'll run through the day in the framework which suits me. And it includes talking to clients, talking to my colleagues, a bit of lead generation, planning, all of these things that are important for a successful agency.
I mean, when I was an agent, my boss always used to say, plan, do, and review.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of doing out there, and again, I'm sure we'll come on to reviewing in a bit, but you're saying planning is important.
100%, yeah. I would say it's probably the most important thing. You know, you either take control of your day, which means you're going to get to the outcome a lot faster, or you let other people take control of your day. They're the 2 options.
What's number 3?
Number 3 is the daily 60-minute lead generation. I think this is important no matter what position you are in, employed or self-employed.
Estate agents and letting agents are not particularly good at lead generation. A lot of it is because they're fearful of rejection, and letting agents are very perfectionists and they don't like criticism. Yeah. How do you get over that?
You make it a habit. So when you first start doing it, you're always going to come up against some resistance. That's normal. That's what happens to all of us. And so you just make it a habit every day. But again, for that, you have to have a plan. Your 60 minutes, how are you going to do it? And that's something you need to have a framework for that.
Now, you are a decent letting agent in Essex. What sort of business generation, lead generation tools do you do to increase your landlords?
Well, the way I look at it is there's 3 elements to it. You've got to work on your existing clients. You've got to generate new clients, in my case, landlords, and you've got to develop your nurture clients by cultivating relationships. So you, if you like, an hour could be broken down into 20 minutes. You spend 20 minutes doing your CRM with existing clients. You might spend 20 minutes creating video content to attract the type of landlords you want. And then you might be spending 20 minutes creating maybe a smart market newsletter that you can send out to your clients once a week.
Yeah, because it's
or
all
once a
very
month.
good. It's all very good getting the leads, but then you have to nurture them. It's almost like a get the lead, then nurture them, and then eventually they'll become your landlord.
Yeah.
That involves a lot of hard work and patience.
Not if you've got some competence in sales, because what happens is if you do it enough, then again, it's a habit. You can actually see it as just talking to a friend or a colleague or an associate. You're not actually trying to sell. You're just developing, finding out what they need, what they require.
So you're removing the outcome from I know we're going to talk about that in greater detail in another video.
Yeah.
You're just going out there to create relationships.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think that's where a lot of agents go wrong, is that they see the task of lead generation, of getting business, when in reality it's about planting seeds and watering and nurturing it, and eventually you'll get the harvest.
Yeah, absolutely. But the goal isn't always to get the fee, get the deal. It might just be developing a relationship. And actually, the way I look at it is everybody you meet, you've got something to learn from, even if you're an expert.
And if you, one thing I've learned, Keith, is that sometimes you build a relationship with this person here, and if you can detach yourself from the outcome and say, well, they didn't give me any business, but you don't know the conversations they're having with someone else,
Absolutely.
who then come back to you and say,
Yeah.
because trust is transferable.
Yeah.
He said you were good, or she said you were good.
Yeah. And a way of sort of taking that one step further is to see every client as £100,000 client. So you might say, well, how's that going to happen? So if I have a landlord and I let their property, I might earn £1,000 letting fee, plus the management, plus other bits. But say if that's a client of mine for 10 years, well, all of their friends, family and associates, they're going to know at least 10 people over 10 years. That's a £100,000 client. And that makes it a bit more exciting when you're talking to a landlord, or you think.
But you can't see these things. You just have to believe in the process.
It's true for everybody. I mean, how many people do you know who've got an investment portfolio?
Quite a lot.
Exactly. So if I'm talking to you.
Well, if Chris says they're good, I'm going to, there you go. Okay,
Yeah.
What's number 4?
Well, number 4 is to notice excellence. So whether you are talking to clients, colleagues, or people in general, when you see something that stands out and someone is doing something, it might be in a different industry and they're doing it really well, is to compliment and actually trying to find out a little bit more about it, because you may be able to model that behaviour and integrate it into your estate agents or letting agents.
Have you got any good examples of that?
Well, a most recent one, which isn't really related to property, is a friend of mine. It's a general manager for Primark. And we was having a conversation the other day about how, say, like in these big stores, Tesco's are getting rid of the tills, the girls on the tills or the guys on the tills. But with Primark, they've tried that, but they're bringing people back because the customers like to talk to people. But in this particular store, there's one lady who actually can process 30 items in 2 minutes. So she can actually scan the items, deal with any pricing queries, actually talk to the client, have a bit of a laugh, and process the whole lot and say, that's going to cost you X amount. Does it all in 2 minutes, more or less, something like that. And that's it. And what he's trying to do now is actually model that behaviour, because that is a behaviour of excellence. And that's a lady who works on the tills. That's just one example where I'm talking to someone who runs Primark. And how can that cross over to letting agency? Well, that's how, because that person working in that industry is doing something that nobody else can do out of 200 staff.
Even if you get half of it, you're on a winner, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Finally, what's number 5?
Number 5 is a bit of an old-fashioned one, really, but it's expand your vocabulary. So what you tend to find is as you go up the hierarchy of management or business, as you go up the ladder, you tend to find that people have got more of an extended vocabulary. They use more interesting words, more descriptive words. And so one of the things I've done for years is when I talk to someone and they use a descriptive word that I'm not used to, or I haven't heard in a while, I'll actually write it down and actually use it because it sometimes just livens the conversation up.
Keith, thank you very much for those 5 things. The juxtaposition of all 5 are absolutely fantastic in the way that they all work together. And thank you for your time, and I'll see you on the next video.
It's a pleasure.